Today I'm going to show you how to use my enter exit vehicle script. This is not a tutorial on how to code, but this is a tutorial on how to use the script. The script is for free and you can find it in the description. For the car controller, I'm going to be using Sim-Cade, which is designed for mobile devices, is very easy to set up. And for the character controller, I'm going to be using Platformer Project. For today's tutorial, you're going to need to install Cinemachine. You're going to need to install the new input system. You're also going to need to make sure that your player is set to using both inputs, active input handling both. To rekey the script, it's as simple as going into the OddKid enter exit input action asset, double clicking on it, and going down to enter and exit and changing it to whatever button you prefer. These are important. Without these, you can't use the script. All right, so let's jump into it. So the first thing we need to do is we need to make a car. Now there's a ton of cars you can buy on the asset store. You can make your own. And for the purpose of this tutorial, we're going to make our own car. So let's go ahead and make it empty. And let's call this empty my car. My car. And then inside this my car, let's go ahead and put the car body. And let's also put a container for the wheels. Okay. Now, we don't see anything yet because we don't have any visuals. These are just all empty. So let's put a visual in here. So inside the body, let's go ahead and put a capsule. Now, capsule isn't facing the right way. So let's go ahead and move this capsule and rotate it by 90 degrees. So here's our car. It's pretty nice, right? Look at that thing. Is that like a Cadillac or something? Remove the capsule collider off of the car. And then we're going to need to have some wheels. So we're also going to go here and we're going to add sphere for the wheel. Now the wheel is pretty big, so let's go ahead and make it a bit smaller. So let's say 0.2. You can make it any size you want. And let's remove the collider. Once the collider is removed and once we have our size, let's go ahead and duplicate it 4 times. And let's go ahead and make it into the wheels that, let's name it so we know which wheels that they are. So the first one is going to be the left front, and then it's going to be the right front, and then it's going to be the left rear, and the right rear. Okay. The first thing you're going to notice is that, look, the wheels are in the middle of the car. It's not going to drive very well. So let's go ahead and move those. Let's take all the wheels and let's move them down to the bottom. And then let's take our rear wheels and let's move them in the back. And let's take our front wheels and move them in the front. Now, they still need to be spaced side to side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take our left front and left rear, and we're going to move them over -0.5. And then we're going to take our right rear and our right front, and we're going to move these, we're going to move these over -5. So now they're exactly 1 away from each other. You see our car, it's pretty cool. What are we going to name our car? I don't know. But anyway, so let's make this car drive. Let's go up here to Tools. This is after we've already installed Sim-Cade, and you see where it says Sim-Cade Vehicle Physics. It's going to open up this window. First line is Sim-Cade Vehicle Preset. You come into Ash Assets, and if you go all the way down to Prefabs, you'll see car presets, and there's a couple of them in here already for a pickup, a sedan, and a sports car. Let's make ours into a sports car. Now, vehicle body. So what it's asking for here is it's asking for the actual body of the car, like, you know, what the actual car itself. So let's go ahead and put that in there. The wheels, let's just put left front, right front, left rear, right rear. Now for the body mesh, that's our capsule. And a wheel mesh, it can be any of the tires, just so it knows what the shape is. All right, and then we hit create. Boom. Now we have a car. Look at that thing. Isn't that cool? But the problem is that we can't drive this car because this car is not connected to the character controller. So this is where my script comes in. Click on the car and then add my script, the OddKid enter exit, to the car, and you're going to see a bunch of options here. The first one is car controller. Well, the car controller was added to our car when we use the Ash asset, and let's go ahead and drag that in there. Now it's asking for the car itself, right? The actual vehicle. Now the reason this is not in, this can be the same thing or not, is because the car itself might not be necessarily connected to the car controller, but in this case it is, so we're just going to drag our car back in there. The exit position transform is something we didn't add yet, so we get in the car, but we get back out. Where's our character going to go? So let's go ahead and add another empty, and let's put this as exit point. Okay, let's go back to our script, and you see where it says exit position. We're going to put that there, but we need to put it in the right spot, otherwise our character is just going to appear inside the car. So let's move this over down beside the car so that when you get out, your character is outside the car and you don't have any conflicts. Okay, that's good. Now, player and player in the car. Player is your actual player, so let's just drag that down there. Now, player in the car, this is going to be the character sitting in the car, and we'll set that up in just a second. We'll just set up these other three first. So, player cam. If you open up the camera, you'll see that there's a main camera and a player camera. Make sure to use the player cam. For car cam, when you made the car with Ash Assets, it automatically adds a virtual camera. So let's drag that here. And then for drive UI, this is the UI that tells you that you've entered the trigger area to, and that you can go ahead and enter the car. So how we're going to do that is you're going to come here and you're going to add a trigger. So we're going to add a collider, make it a trigger, and then we're going to make it big enough so that it sees us if we're standing next to the car. That should be fine. Okay, but we also need to have the UI. So if you go into level and you go into canvas and you go into HUD, this is the UI you see when the game is playing. All right, this is the UI you see here. So this is where we're going to put our button. So on the HUD itself, we're going to say we're going to go down to we're going to right click on HUD. We're going to go down to UI. And then we're going to go ahead and add a button. Okay. When you add a button, it's going to, let's name it drive. When you add a button, it's going to give you the button and also text. So for the text itself, we're just going to go ahead and have it say drive. Okay. Whoops. Drive. Now, you see here, the button shows up in the middle of the screen. So all this is going to do is this is going to pop up when you're close enough to the car to be able to drive. And now we need to move it so that it's in a better place. So let's go up, hit F when you select it, and it'll take you up to where it's at on the screen. And then we can go ahead and adjust it just out of the way so it's not in the way of your character. And that's basically it. So we're going to have this UI. It's not a button you push on the screen. It's just something that's going to appear when you get close to the car so that you know that you're going to, that you can now enter the car. So if you go back to our car where it says drive UI, you can now select this and put it here. Now this will disappear when the game is running. It will only appear when you hit the trigger. All right, so everything else is set up. Let's go ahead and finish the thing that we didn't finish, and that is putting the player in car. And what that just means is that it's going to be a visual of the character inside the car. So if you search Lily, well, her actual model that doesn't have all her scripts on it, then we're going to go ahead and take that and we're going to put that into the car. And, just to make it a little bit more visually like she's actually driving, let's go ahead and move her down. All right, doesn't matter. Anyway, so Lily's inside the car, okay? See, this is how she's gonna drive the car. And then make sure you add her here. So we're gonna take Lily and we're gonna drag her here. So now we have Lily in the car and then we have Lily outside the car. When we hit play, it'll turn Lily in the car off until you're inside the car. So here we are. Everything looks fine. There's no problems. You can even push the car. Well, yeah, there you go. You can push the car around, right? But if you walk next to the car, you'll see our trigger hits and you can see that little drive. That means that now you can enter the car. So if I press the up on the D-pad, then I will be in the car and now I can drive. And then look, it's got physics and everything's all built in. Look at my wheels go. Isn't this cool? And that's basically it. I look forward to seeing what you create with this. Like and subscribe. Leave any questions you have below or any requests for any future tutorials. Till next time.